The EU ambassador to the United States has said that the bloc has a vested interest in the Ukrainian conflict and that if President Vladimir Putin succeeds, the West won't be able to project its power around the world.
This is an existential battle for us. If he succeeds, we're going to have a tremendous amount of difficulty as Americans and Europeans to project our power around the world for decades to come.
If you listen to what he said, there seem to be two arguments being made. The first being made that Russia can't be allowed to win because if Russia and China rule the world, it will be awful. And secondly, Russia cannot be allowed to win because it would subvert plans by the United States and the EU to dominate the planet. Now, those are pretty blatant statements calling for hegemony. And it's not the first time we've heard Western officials basically allude to the same thing or make similar grandiose proclamations. Here's what we've heard before.
This fight is not just in Ukraine's interest. It is in the global interest to protect, as the Secretary pointed out, the rules-based international order. And that is our purpose that has been given to us, the uniformed military, from our civilian leadership, which is to uphold the rules-based international order that was established some 80 years ago at the conclusion of World War II.
Now, the United States rose to global dominance due to the post-World War II international financial setup, the U.S. dollar, the Bretton Woods agreements. And now we have U.S. officials talking about this rules-based global order. Now, they never clearly state what the rules of this rules-based global order are. It seems like they keep moving the goalpost. Essentially, the only rule that seems consistent is whatever Washington says goes. Now, you can see this most blatantly recently with the situation regarding Serbia. Serbia maintains good relations with Russia, and you have a situation where in the aftermath of Serbia signing a bilateral cooperation agreement with Russia, we have EU officials lashing out at Serbia, voicing their outrage. They seem to have almost forgotten the vicious bombing campaign that Washington waged against Serbia during the 1990s, and they seem to just not approve of the fact that Serbia might want to have a good relationship with a major power like Russia.
The need for a decision is coming to a head in view of geopolitical developments. The relationship with Serbia is complex. There is light as well as shadows. Serbia's relations with Russia are currently part of the shadows. If Alexander Vučić takes the path to Europe, he will have support from the EU as a whole and from the German government. Should he choose the other path, it will be ensuing consequences.
This is how Western leaders expect countries to operate, with no national interest of their own, simply our way or the highway. And it's important to note that we're seeing blatant admission here that Western support for the Kiev government is not about charity. It's not about the goodness of their hearts, defending democracy, all the rhetoric that we're hearing. In reality, they are fighting to preserve a global setup where Western countries remain the center of the global economy and they remain the center of power in the world. Meanwhile, we're seeing rising protests in Europe against the economic results of these sanctions on Russia. And public opinion polls in the United States show that support for Biden's Ukraine policy is sinking lower and lower each day.